Oh, what's up? How are you doing? I'm good. You very, very good.
Hey guys, welcome back. Before we get started, just a couple of things. If you haven't already, go to foxairsoft.com and enter their free gun giveaway link in the description to do that. It just takes a couple of seconds and you can win a free high-end airsoft gun. Also, if you like the content on my channel, please subscribe and like the video. It really helps me out and I really appreciate it. Today we're checking out the Elite Force Glock 17. This is the CO2 model and it is the full blowback, not the partial blowback. I've had the Elite Force CO2 Glock 17 for several weeks now. I've been wanting to film this review. Lately, college has been so bombarding me with homework, it's been insane. I just have not had the energy or time to do it. So thankfully this weekend, I finally get a little bit of a reprieve, at least for today, to finally sit down and film. And let me tell you, this pistol really is surprising out of the box. I went out to Nighthawk Airsoft a few weeks ago and took this out as my sidearm. I just had the one magazine. The mags barely hold about 20 or so rounds. So I kind of had to be a little picky with my ammo. So I ran .32s in it. I wanted to get the best performance possible. And I took it apart, of course, before going and taking it out. And the bucking really intrigued me. I was really hoping to get superb performance and range and accuracy out of this gun just because of that alone, and I was very satisfied by the way it performed. This thing really has the range of just about any AEG. It is quite surprising. Real quick, let's talk about what the gun comes with. Gun really does not come with a whole lot. You get a single magazine, thankfully an Allen key to install your CO2. Not every CO2 gun comes with these, so just a little bit of a plus. Your warranty and info cards from Elite Force and Umarex. And thankfully a pretty substantial manual. I was surprised at how much is here. Definitely worth the read if you really are new to airsoft pistols or CO2 guns in general. The Elite Force Glock 17. Now, finally, after God knows how long, never, we get a licensed Glock replica for airsoft. And it actually performs really well. Crazy, right? And this one, they price right around 170 bucks just about anywhere you go. They're well worth the price if you want a sidearm out of the box that I think performs pretty dang well. Now let's check out the pistol. It is based on the Gen 4 model. Normally the Gen 4 Glock, you can remove the back strap on it and get a smaller or larger one depending on how large your hand is to make it more comfortable. This one does not include any back straps to it. It is a fixed back strap and cannot be removed. It is actually part of the frame itself. I don't mind it. I've kind of got medium to large size hands and it fits pretty well. I really wish though that Elite Force would eventually come out with Gen 5s. I really hope they do. That way it gets rid of these finger grooves. I don't mind them, but I don't like them at the same time. So it's just my personal preference. You guys probably know a little bit about Glocks. They don't actually have a safety on them except for the trigger safety. So I'm gonna rack the trigger and try and pull the trigger without actually hitting the little bar on the middle of the trigger. It's not gonna pull. So obviously this gun does not have a magazine. I'm gonna pull the trigger. Once I hit that little bar in the middle, then I can actually fully pull the trigger and discharge the airsoft gun. The sights on this gun, it wouldn't surprise me if they're off of a real Glock. Glocks are not known for their plastic iron sights. They're kind of a U-notch with white paint on the back and a little white notch on the front. They work well enough. It is an airsoft gun. You're not actually out there like precision target shooting like you might with a real firearm. So they do just fine, and I don't think they're gonna break off like they might on the real firearm. There are plenty of trademarks all over this pistol, something that you're definitely paying for in the price that's a little higher than a lot of airsoft pistols out there. You get Glock along the entire side. As far as like trades, you probably couldn't tell this apart from real Glock. Where it really differentiates with telling it apart, aside from some build material and quality, is the warning label on the bottom of the trigger guard, which I'm glad I can never see it. If it were on the side like some of their other offerings from Elite Force, I'd be a little more annoyed. But thankfully the slide is pretty clear of anything that says, hey, I'm an airsoft gun. So it's on the bottom here, you can barely see it. It's in really like kind of dark gray print on black, so it's almost not even noticeable, which is really nice. Where the little rail is here, you do get a unique serial number, and it does unfortunately say 6mm BB, saying, hey, I'm an airsoft gun. I really do like, of course, that they did replicate the rail on here, so you can put a light on here, laser. I'd probably put an O light. My carry pistol does have a PL2 on it, which fits very, very nicely on this, and gives you quite a bit of illumination if you need it. I do actually like this as a pretty flat magazine release. It sits flush with the little finger groove right on the left side of the gun, and it is rather large, so you can easily press it with your thumb. You don't need like massive monster-sized thumbs to hit that. Disassembly on the pistol is extremely straightforward. Rack the pistol to cock the little hammer inside of it, pull it back just slightly. I like to do it this way, it's a little more simple, and pull the two tabs on either side and pull forward on the slide. Your slide comes off, you can set your frame aside. Field stripping of the pistol simply involves the disassembly, removal of the slide, and removing the spring guide rod, which does have the dual spring on it, like the real one, and removal of the hop-up end barrel and outer barrel as well. The hop-up is extremely stiff. You almost feel like you're gonna bend your fingernail back rotating it, so it's not going to disengage or rotate at all when you're shooting the airsoft gun. My overall thoughts on the Elite Force pistol. I've got mixed feelings about it. I do really like it. I took it out in cold weather and it was definitely a performer. I didn't have any issues with running out of CO2, of course, in the cold. Only having 20 rounds or so though, yeah, you know, you only have 20 rounds or so. A lot of pistols out there can fit 25, 30 BBs in it, so being actually any of the Glocks from Elite Force right now do not hold as many BBs as, say, similar counterparts or other guns that are actually less expensive. So you're definitely buying a Glock, and you're paying for the licensing with that $170 price tag on this guy. So something to keep in mind there. Another downside to me is how much the magazines cost. They're rather expensive. The CO2 ones are a little less expensive than the gas magazines, thankfully, but generally mags cost like $40 to $45. They're really up there. Compared to other offerings out there from different brands, the magazines are almost twice the price in some cases. They're really quite expensive. But if money is no object and you guys really just want a pistol that performs out of the box really well, the Elite Force Glock 17 CO2 is solid. I was really impressed by it. I could easily reach out past 150 feet with .32s and hit someone pretty accurately. I can't say that about a lot of pistols out there, especially in the cold. One more thing about the gun is it does guzzle gas, whether it be gas or CO2. I haven't tried the gas pistol per se, but I know that guzzles gas as well. And the CO2 one is no different. I can barely get about 2.5 magazines per CO2 cartridge out of this. And it's 50 rounds tops before you really start to notice a performance drop and it finally just runs out of CO2. A lot of guns out there tend to get 3-4 mags of CO2 without a problem, but unfortunately this one really does guzzle it. So I'd say every 2 magazines, probably reload that CO2 canister to keep your performance consistent. All of that being said, I really do actually like the gun. It's grown on me since I got it. It felt a little almost plasticky in a way, kind of like the USP CO2 I reviewed not long ago. It's a really similar feel to that as far as the plastic and metal quality, but it's light, it performs, and you know, on those fronts, I really can't complain. Where I think the pistol really could use some improvement is probably the price and maybe how much CO2 it uses. Ultimately, I have to give this a grade, and I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It performs really well in the cold. It did not have any issues on a chilly 30-degree day out here near Spokane, and it shot great. It really performed better than I expected it to, which is pretty surprising. Just keep in mind, if you want one of these, you're gonna pay for it. Magazines are fairly expensive and the gun itself is not the cheapest for a pistol. So keep those things in mind. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Team Kilo 23. Again, go to foxairsoft.com, check this pistol out, similar pistols, and enter their free gun giveaway. And of course, I'd really appreciate it if you guys like the video. Leave a comment if you got questions, and go subscribe if you like my content. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next review.